Set the Record. I'm Malcolm Anthony, all the way from Houston, Texas. We got Cody, editor-in-chief.
Yes, sir. What it do, everybody?
Hey, subscribe to the show wherever you're watching, YouTube, Spotify, listening, of course, on Apple Podcasts. Give us those 5 stars. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter at Set the Record Pod. Like the Facebook page, Set the Record Podcast. Sports, right? I mean, look, huge show, great show planned for you today, as always. We're dropping it into the NCAA bracket where nobody has a perfect bracket. and myself, I have nobody left.
I don't either. Yeah, it's finished, man. Both of our top picks were cooked in the same round. It was like, oh man.
Yeah, literally. So yeah, you had Houston going out, and I had Alabama going out, and also Texas, who was my loser in the championship, going out today.
Texas was my second pick if Houston didn't win.
Yeah, so. all bad on the second Set the Record account of NCAA brackets. But look, that's the world we know it as the tournament goes on, and everybody who filled it out is failed tremendously. So we are not alone, which is wonderful. So join us in this endeavor and talking about these few teams who are left. We got San Diego State, man. Okay.
Crazy.
Playing Florida Atlantic. The Owls versus the Aztecs. You know about that?
And these are 4 teams that nobody expected to see in the Final Four.
Nah, but two of them, I'll tell you a little bit about. Look, Florida Atlantic, the CUSA champions. They've won 11 straight games, okay? Team not messing around, 35-3 on the season. And they've looked really well so far doing it. They've got two guys, I think, with this team that you can't forget about. But look, Florida Atlantic is barely winning their basketball games. Did you know that?
Barely.
Florida Atlantic, they're winning by an average margin of 3.7 a game. So look for the Aztecs and San Diego State to come around. Okay, look for San Diego State to win this basketball game. I'm just saying.
Just saying. All right. What about on the other side? What are we thinking about?
The other side, UConn, man. UConn looking great, winning their games by an average margin of like 22.5 points per game. Pretty much slaughtering the competition.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be tough to beat anybody who's that hot on that much of a roll, winning by that much. But, also on the flip side, Miami also demolished Houston. They won by a lot too. So, yeah, they're winning by 11 points per game. So no, they're the 2 best teams by average points per game, by average victory margin of victory. But it's kind of stinks that we're not getting them in the final game, Miami and UConn. I think that would be super great. That's the dream.
That would be the dream. But instead, the Owls or the Aztecs will get to fight the Hurricanes or the UConn Huskies. So look, and it's kind of crazy. The highest seed that could be in the finals is going to be a 4 seed, and that's just kind of wild. And on the other side, it's going to be a 9 or a 5. So it's just this has been a wild tournament, full of upsets, and really. Miami really closing out Texas in the second half today was impressive. So UConn's going to have their hands full. I really definitely think the tournament, the end of it next week, man, we're going to have the Final Four on Saturday. That's going to be awesome to watch.
Big time. Always lots of fun, man. March is madnessing, as they say.
That's it. Yeah, I believe it. After my bracket is now 3 millionth in the world, I'm not very happy about that. That's rough. No good.
That is rough.
But nah, man, look, a couple of guys not really roughing it, so to speak. A couple of guys, a trio of individuals really striving for excellence in another league. Tremendous. It's where these guys strive to go, right? These NCAA guys are going for the NBA, and a lot of them would go for this MVP if they had the opportunity, right?
Oh, yeah.
We have
Speaking of the MVP.
3 guys fighting for it, man. And do you think with the way it's shaking out, there's any time for anybody to pull away with it right now. It's their time to pull away.
Well, I think it's if anybody has a chance to pull away with it right now, it's Joel Embiid, because he's the guy that has the 2 games upcoming versus the other 2 candidates. Okay. Now, the Sixers as a whole, the Sixers, at least in the past week, have been kind of shaky after, receiving high praise from me, right? They went on.
We talked about them last week, and then they 1-3.
7-3 in their last 10, and then 1-3 in their last 4. With losses to the Bulls, first time in Joel Embiid's career, which is always a bad thing. You don't want to lose to the Bulls. Another loss was to the Suns, and a loss to the Warriors.
Yeah, and the Warriors, man,
Yep. And here's the thing about that, though. It's like, what's scary here for Sixers fans is that, so you're losing against teams that are, except for the Bulls, playoff caliber teams. Warriors,
come on, the Bulls are right there. Play-in fight. They're in a play-in fight.
Play-in.
He's over here dogging on the Bulls, man. They beat you once. That doesn't make them do it again.
Play-in. All right. But, they're losing to those teams. And, credit where it's due, right? They beat the Pacers. They beat the Hornets. They beat the Wizards. They beat the Blazers. These are teams that they're supposed to beat. Teams that, are more on the ropes, not really certified, right? So you beat the teams you're supposed to beat, which is always great. But what's really concerning is once you get to those nitty-gritty teams, those teams that are projected to make a deeper playoff run, teams that even though they're on the other side of the conference, are in the same caliber of those teams you're going to see later, that's where it starts to get scary.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Joel Embiid has performed. The Sixers as a team, they've performed, but not to their level. James Harden had a horrible game against the Bulls.
He's not up to snuff right now.
But they're saying he has an Achilles injury, which is the reason why he was whiffing so many shots. It's like,
you ain't got your leg.
For me as a fan, that sucks because James Harden always gets that wear and tear, come playoff time. Yep. But yeah, I mean, right now the Sixers have the toughest upcoming schedule. All right, they have a game versus their next. Well, the remaining games. They have 8 games left. Nuggets, Mavericks, Raptors. Bucks, Celtics, Heat, Hawks, Nets. These are all, if you don't take the NBA's toughest schedule.
Games. Yeah, to end the season, NBA's toughest schedule. Philly does. They definitely got their hands full, but they have the MVP front runner, as you said, and
that's what I'm saying. This is the perfect opportunity right here. If you show out and you go maybe 6-2, 7-1, 8-0 to finish the season.
that ain't happening.
It's not gonna happen. That's why I said 6-2. If you win most of those games and Joel Embiid is dominant in those games, then he has the MVP on the wraps.
Yeah, no, I think they can go 5-3 in that match. No problem. 5-3 to end the season. All right, we'll see how it plays out. We'll see. We got about 2 weeks and about 8 games. Yeah, no, man, it's gonna be nice. You just said it. 1-3 Philly in the last 4, and Joel really isn't really having a problem himself in those games. He's scoring just fine, averaging 34 points a game. And with the 3 guys he's going, or 2 guys he's going head to head with this MVP in Giannis and Nikola Jokic. Embiid's averaging the most points, and he's doing it on pretty great shooting, about 59% field goal percentage, kind of incredible. 85% from the free throw line, also the better of those 3 guys. And defensively, I'll add as well, Joel Embiid is above those 2 guys in Giannis and Nikola Jokic. So
I think he's actually been climbing up the ranks for the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year ladder as well.
Yeah, I mean, Jared Jackson should have that.
I think it's wrapped up.
Yeah, JJJ should have that. But Embiid, he's averaging 2.7 blocks a game and almost 1 steal per game. And Giannis and Nikola aren't doing that. Nikola and Giannis are barely averaging a half a block a game and only 1 steal per game.
That's actually a crazy drop off. That kind of surprised me because Giannis.
Giannis used to be a SWAT
monster.
A
2 block per game guy. He's a defensive player of the year. But you know what? he's been letting Brook Lopez take that, because Brook Lopez
Yeah,
has also been having a Depoy caliber season. Not saying he is the
yeah.
defensive player of the year, but
No, he's up there. He's up there. Absolutely. No, but to give Embiid a little, extra mustard on the hot dog, like I said, he's leading in points per game, free throw percentage, and I think his defensive numbers are above Giannis and Jokic. So, but no, and Giannis, honestly, the Bucks have been looking fine all season. Number one in the East. It's hard to discredit that. They climbed up the ladder. They weren't so hot at the beginning of the season, and they found the rhythm. And Giannis is averaging 30 points a game. I mean, like, this guy's, it's hard to argue what he does is because it's so consistent. It's kind of boring now, right? It's kind of what he wanted.
The voter fatigue kicking in, that's why he's like third in the MVP race when.
Yeah. And that's fine by me. But he's also, to me, if you say he's third, he's also been the flatline most consistent of these three guys. Like, he's shooting 33% from 3-point, which is kind of wild for Giannis, but it's second among these three guys. He's doing better than Joel and right under Nikola for this award right now. And his field goal percentage is 63% from the floor, which is tied with Nikola for the best in this MVP race. You know what I'm saying?
Of the three of them, it's the most difficult for Giannis to have a bad game. Just when you take into account his physical tools and the way he plays the game.
Yeah, he's unstoppable.
Yeah, you're more likely to get a Jokic or Embiid bad game than a Giannis bad game, just because you're not going to stop Giannis from running from one end of the court to the other,
No, yeah, and Jokic is slow, and he can miss shots, and in the same with
Embiid when he starts to settle, because he does that a lot more than any of them.
Yeah,
but he hasn't been doing it recently. But it's actually been flipped now. Now in the fourth quarter, he's getting dominant. After being more on chill, I guess, in the first half.
I like that though. This version of Embiid is nice, and he could drag this Philly team somewhere if he had to. We'll see how that plays out. But as we speak of these guys, Nikola Jokic, man, a guy who's going for his third straight MVP, the Joker as they call him. They've won 3 in a row. Right? The Nuggets have won 3 games in a row, and winning these games is what's important. They just beat the Milwaukee Bucks, right?
Yes, they did. That was, for a good 3 quarters, a pretty good game.
I was going to say, yeah, for about two and a half quarters, that was a solid basketball game. And then it was not a good game anymore. Jamal Murray and Jokic, they played some tandem basketball and shut the shit down.
Difference in that game was the supporting cast.
Yeah, it was.
We had Jamal Murray go for like 26 points, I think it was. MPJ had like 19, I believe this off the top of my head.
Yeah, Jamal Murray had 26.
26, and MPJ had 19.
19, yes, sir.
Exactly. And then, Aaron Gordon didn't have as much, I think he had 9, but he was doing all the little stuff on the court.
That's what he's meant. He's the dog.
He's been taking the Giannis assignment that game, right?
Yeah.
So, you're not going to hold Giannis, right? Nobody is. But he took the challenge. He stepped up to it. And Giannis didn't have the help that Jokic did that game specifically, which for me, it's...
Well, nobody can hit a 3, man. They were poor 3-point. They couldn't buy a 3-point bucket.
And, I know we've kind of dogged on the Nuggets ourselves, when it comes to like matchups, when it comes to the playoffs, right? Because of
a little bit
they're slow, right?
I think it's the way they play, man.
It's the way they play.
Everybody.
I think the Bucks match up pretty well for the Nuggets. Like if we were to see them in the finals, I think the Nuggets have a better chance of beating them than other teams in the West. Just because of the way they match up, just because of what we saw in that last game. They don't attack Jokic as well as other fast teams do, because they don't have the need to. They have Giannis.
They also had, like you just mentioned, their contributors on Denver contributed. Their bench played well compared to the Bucks as well. Like I just think, I don't know if they have 7 games, I think the Bucks win 5 out of 7. You know, if they, I mean, I think, you know what I'm saying? I don't think this, I just, I think they can win it in 6 games if that were to be the case. But, and I look, I'm by, I got to see Denver do it, man, before I believe in anything, man. We'll see how far they go.
Hey, man. As of when this episode comes out today, the Nuggets are actually going to play the Sixers.
Yes, sir.
Which really sucks for the Nuggets to have the Bucks and the Sixers back to back.
Could you? I would hate the schedule gods, man.
Man, that sucks. But we're talking about what it takes for Embiid to pull away with this award. Now, what it takes for Jokic to pull away with this award. If he beats his 2 competitors on a back-to-back, right? We already saw them clash back like a month or 2 ago, and Embiid was able to take that one. If Jokic can get his get back right after beating Giannis, I think that projects him right back up there in the MVP race. It'll be tough to deny him, right?
No, absolutely. Especially if they win, that'll put them on a 4-game winning streak, and they're looking at the Pelicans and the Suns. So yeah, no, look,
puts them on a 4-game win streak, and then puts the Sixers on a losing streak. So it the balances will shift. The same thing, you know.
The pendulum swings, man. It's something's gonna happen, man. This is gonna be nice. I like the way the way it's shaking down, man. It's nice that we do have a race that's this tight at the end of the season, and it's kind of nice too because with the MVP as tight as it is, we have the Western Conference equally as tight. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. We have between seeds 4 through 12 is 4 games separate that, which there's only 7 or 8 left, so that's not a lot to play with, not a huge margin for
can't afford to lose, man. All of these games are extremely important,
no doubt. And you mentioned losing to the Bulls earlier, how Philly couldn't do that and shouldn't have done that. Well, look at the Lakers just losing to the Bulls.
They lost to the Bulls. Hey, you know what? The Bulls are just that team. They will crush your soul when you need the win.
Levine and DeRozan could shoot your face off, man. They could shoot.
The Pat Beverly effect. Nah, I'm joking.
I'll forgive you for that. But I tell you what,
he told LeBron he was too small.
he could do that. In that play, he could do that. I didn't like it, but he could do that. They won the game, and he proved in that moment. Too small. So look, what's up?
Patrick Beverly revenge game.
He said he had this one marked on his calendar weeks ago, so we already knew, and they got to play again. So that's gonna be just fine. But yeah, now the Lakers, man, they were doing just fine before Bron got back. Lose the game with Bron on his 13-game absent. In that time, they were 8-5, kind of floating there between 7 and 10, you know, flying under the radar. They even got as low as 11 at one point, right?
I mean, it's a readjustment game too, you know. It's not like
it's
not like it's LeBron's fault. It's always difficult to come in after a team was rolling and then add a player of LeBron's caliber. Now you have to try to refigure everything out, especially after having that roster turnaround, you know.
Yeah,
I don't blame them. I think the Lakers will be fine. They probably will end up making the playoffs now that they have most of their team pretty healthy now. I think they're just missing Mo Bamba.
Yeah, Mo Bamba and D'Lo.
D'Lo, that's right.
D'Lo didn't play today, and that kind of didn't help a little bit. I mean, Vanderbilt had a rough game. Austin Reeves didn't play his best game. He had a lot of turnovers. LeBron coming off the bench, couldn't buy a 3. He looked fine. It was overall the shooters weren't making shots, and really Chicago just played harder. I mean, it's just part of the game sometimes. But yeah, Lakers they could do better. You know, like I said, 3-1 in the last 4, and AD, man, I don't think he did enough today either. 15 points, 9 rebounds. We can't get that AD. Where's the MVP?
We need the MVP AD. He can't be. He went back to that mode where LeBron's back. All right, I'm gonna chill. You know that's
but he been in that mode before he got back. As soon as they got the text that LeBron gonna come back, he was like, "All right, we fine."
Like, you know what? Yeah. I'll just.
He got the 8 points. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's he doing? But look, now Golden State, another team to kind of look out for, man. Golden State been 3-0 lately. You know, in these last few games, beating the Mavs, beating the Rockets. They actually got 2 road wins, first against your Rockets and then against the Mavs. Hey man, everybody's got to get their game off against the Rockets. You know, it's just like,
Yeah, that's Dame.
but now the Warriors have the fourth worst road record in the NBA. Look, they were at the bottom. Now they're here. So
officially 9-29 on the road now.
Hey, that's better. That's better than 7-29 or whatever the hell it was. So no, it's definitely looking better right now for them, and I'd like to think nobody wants to see them either. They're in the playoffs right now. They're actually in. They're sitting pretty.
Sixth seed right now, so
right at the 6, and you got
barely avoiding that play-in.
And the Clippers gonna fall a little bit more, I think, man. You got PG sitting out. PG got the what he hurt his leg, right?
That was rough to look at.
Yeah, man.
The human body is not meant to bend that way. I think they said he's gonna be reevaluated in at the end of the season. So 2 to 3 is end of the season, basically. Yeah. So
pretty much the last day.
It's rough for the Clippers, but overall might be better for Russ. As much as, we've talked about roughing Russ enough, right? But no, because he's better off when he doesn't have to share the ball as much, right?
Yeah, no, that's true.
So with one person gone from the little 3-headed monster, I think it's an easy. Well, it's not a monster, but I think it's good to take a look at Russ, see how much differently he plays, because Kawhi doesn't necessarily need the ball. He can kind of chill. You can plug him in. He'll get his shots whenever.
Yep.
So kind of expect to see more Russ taking charge now that he doesn't have another shot taker. He can hold the ball a little bit more.
No, I can buy into that. I also could see Russ trying harder and making a little more rash decisions.
And trying a little too hard.
Right. Yeah, which can happen. So I hope not. I like Russ, man. Like I said, he's a Hall of Famer.
But I like the Clippers. So
man, he was on my squad, and he was on your squad. I like Russ, and I wish him well. But honestly, I see the Clippers really falling down a little bit more. They lost, like I said, PG and Kawhi. He's got a face contusion or some nonsense as well. I don't know that he'll miss any time.
But he can't afford to miss time.
He might be agitated.
The thing is with Kawhi is he's probably gonna want to play, but the staff will hold him out because that's what
you think. Man, it's.
That's what everyone's been saying recently. When
I know I'm getting a little agitated by that because I've been to a few games this year where I've been to some Thunder games and the other team got players sitting out for some load management or some BS, man. It's not cool when I paid the ticket price when the guy was in the damn game and then they took him out and tickets are cheaper now, that ain't very cool. But nonetheless, another team to look out for is the Pelicans, man. We got Zion possibly coming back in 2 weeks, right? They say he's going to be evaluated again in 2 weeks. He's okay to scrimmage. He's getting some time, right?
That was a scary team when they were fully healthy, man. They were up there.
They've won 4 in a row without him.
Are you going to take that? You're going to add Zion. He's going to go down low, dominate like he was doing. Who knows? He might go back up to... No, I'm kidding. They're not going to go back up to the 2 seed. But I'm saying they were that dominant when they were fully healthy. They had Zion, Brandon Ingram, TJ McCollum all playing. Yeah. Jose Alvarado doing the little things. They were up there. They were one of those teams. The conversation at the beginning of the season was hold on, we might see a Memphis and New Orleans conference final, something like that, right? Because they were two hottest teams, so it was a fair take to make at the time, but it's just saying, that's a team that is scary, is going to give you some run. They took the Suns to 6 last year. Yeah. And they were still more inexperienced. So it's it's a scary team.
No, I agree. That's why I brought them up, because you can't mess with the Pels right now. Like I said, I think that's another team. They got a lot of guys on there who I think can damage you. Like you said, Bi, CJ, Grand Theft Alvarado. I like that guy a lot, man. He plays with such heart. I like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I like what they can do. Another team. The OKC, man. OKC, giddy up, man. You got to watch out, man. Thunder not looking so hot, sitting right now in the 10th spot, half game above Denver. I think they might have just pulled the win tonight. Yeah, they did. They got the win. It looks like they got the win against Portland, 118-112. So
Let's see.
full game
Portland,
above
man.
Dallas now. With Portland, looks like they're sitting out
It's
Dame.
Yep. It's been really rumored like for the past week or so, that
You heard
uh,
his conversation just the other day. Is his interview like it sounded like he was shutting it down.
he said he don't want to play meaningless ball anymore, which I mean, completely understandable. At this point of your career, it's like you've gotten paid, you've gotten your accolades, you've gotten your stats. You don't want to just you want to
Well,
win.
freak injuries could happen too, even if in these final 7 games. Wouldn't you rather him be healthy to start the season than him slip on the floor like KD? You know what I'm saying? I mean, like,
hmm
you know what I'm saying? Or like, I mean, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, I think
I'd
it is the
rather,
better thing to do to shut Dame down for the
yeah.
season, not just for, like not just for his health, which is obviously one of the main reasons, but like also at this point the Blazers are out of playoff contention. I mean,
Well,
it's
yeah,
like
they are. Not only that, but they've got guys, young guys who can ball, man. I
we
like
need
Sharp.
I need to see sharp minutes. They've been inconsistent,
I like Sharp. They had this kid that Nazir Little
Nasir Little is very nice.
played very, very nice tonight. So I'm just like
So
I said,
with that, if they're shutting Dame down with the intention of losing more games just to get their pick as high as possible, do you think they shut down Simons too, or do you think they give him more rep?
nah, they're gonna play him
They're
because
gonna
I
play
think
him.
even with them, they're still gonna lose. Just, you know what I mean? He's gonna get the
Yeah,
minutes he needs. There's still not enough to help.
I get it. But you get the flip side. It's like he could be a 30 bomb away from winning your game, but I mean it's not as likely to happen as Dame,
Yeah,
dropping 40 and giving you the win. So it's very very fair. I hope he plays because I love Anthony Simons. He very
yeah,
good
I do
player,
too. I do
very
too.
electric man.
Yeah, I'm a
Dame
big
esque.
fan. Yeah, right. Yeah. Big fan. No, I'm a big fan. So yeah, no doubt. But yeah, OKC, I like their chances. They're a team that just won't quit as well. When they get in there to the play in. Like I said, they're gonna be a tough out. I think they got Shea's a dog, Giddy can ball, Dort, and he'll put you in the torture chamber. You gotta watch out.
Ask Kawhi.
We got to ask Kawhi, both Williams, both Jalen Williams, both very good. And you can't sleep on Isaiah Joe. He might be seriously
Shooter.
one of the
Lights
best
out.
three-point shooters off the bench that we got in the league right now. Like,
I was thinking about it when they announced the roster for the 3-point contest. They should have given this man an invite because
for
he
real.
lights it up.
Dude, every time I watched him in real life, when I was in OKC watching the games, or even on TV when I watched the games, every time he touches the ball, I think it's going in.
And he's
Like
so
I'm not
smooth with
kidding.
it.
And it is butter. That's butter, man. It's so nice. Yeah, no. So
Hey
the
man,
West is crazy right now.
another team, right? Who just got their best player and will soon get their other best player back, the Timberwolves.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, they're scary. They're
The
scary.
Timberwolves lost Anthony Edwards in an
Yep.
injury that people say looked like would take people out for like a month or two, right?
Seriously, I saw it. I
And
thought he
he's
was.
back after like 4 games or something.
Yeah, so I think he's got what LeBron earlier, vibranium.
Mm, right, where it just heals at like an unnaturally fast rate.
Unnaturally fast. It's like, where is this? He's
The
going to Wakanda and healing very quickly, and then coming back and playing basketball.
got the Wolverine adamantium.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. No, it's
But yeah,
impressive.
man,
I'm seriously,
the
that's incredible.
Timberwolves currently the 8th seed. They're actually tied with the Warriors at halftime, 53-53. But right
Okay,
now, 500 team, 37 wins, 8th seed. They
that's
kind of been getting it together, in the last 2 games, getting a win. But I mean, you can tell without Edwards there, it hasn't been the same. But now getting them back, they're going to start looking a lot better. They're going to start being another scary team. Then you got to think
mm-hmm.
about Carl Anthony Towns coming back. At this point, I mean, okay, if they're going to make the playoffs, then yes, they bring Cat back. but like you try to bring him back as soon as possible because you don't want him to readjust into playoffs and having to cost you some games. That's kind of my concern with them. I feel
Yeah.
like they're gonna make it. You know, they're gonna be a scary team when they make it. It's just a matter of when they get their players back and how fast they're able to get back into the game.
Yeah, and I think part of the thing I have for that team is I think I'm not sure they're ready for that moment yet. I mean, does this make sense? Like
I get it.
kind of
Yep.
like Memphis last year, you just weren't sure that they were ready to beat Golden State. And and like it just I'm not sure even if Minnesota gets all these guys back, it's their time yet. That this is a team that's so talented. I really think they could go deep
Yep. I
next
mean,
year.
Anthony Edwards is good enough to win you a playoff series, right? But when you think
But he's
about
not
it,
off the leash yet.
he's not. He's playing right now. He's not playing so great because he just came back from an injury. Right now, he has like 7 points at halftime, 2 for 8.
Yeah.
But we obviously haven't seen his full potential. We saw a taste of what he can do in the playoffs last season when he erupted. He went crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm
But I
just
don't know. Like I said, he can win you a game, but against these top echelon teams in the playoffs, it it's slim.
there's so many players on the team that need the ball, man. I just feel like he's out there sharing the load. I don't know
And
how to
then and
explain that.
Gobert is going to keep getting attacks in the playoffs because that's what they do. I think the best matchup for this team, for it to be a fun series, not saying that they'd beat this team, but we'd get the most games would be the Kings. I think
That would
those
be
two teams match up well.
that would be a fun
That would
series.
be a very fun series. I'd love to watch a Kings and Timberwolves series because they're both young. I know they're gonna be talking.
Yeah.
It's,
Oh,
it's gonna
yeah.
be
Yeah.
very fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Fox and Edwards,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. 100%. That would be a wild series. That would be great to see, man. Man. Yeah. Any other notes you got to drop on the Western Conference?
I think that's everything I had.
Man. All right, man. Another great show today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Set the record. I'm Malcolm Anthony. That's Cody. Check us out. We are here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Out here working for 5 stars. Okay. Don't forget, we're out here on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter at Set the Record Pod. Like the Facebook page, Set the Record Podcast. Meditate, make it go away.